Okay, so what I want to talk to you about is getting notes together for your essays and turning those notes into decent pieces of work, okay? Now, the first thing you need to remember is get to know your material well. This is a very basic thing, but last lesson I was looking at some people and they actually didn't seem to actually know the material that well, and they were thinking, oh, I can just go ahead and write my essay and just write a few sentences, and I'm not really that aware of the material. So my first rule is for getting a good essay together is reread the material. If you don't know it very well, you're not going to write anything of interest there, okay? Once you've reread it, obviously the key thing for your essay writing is getting some decent quotes. This is what I do. Yesterday, this is my day off for this school. I'm doing some research, and it's exactly the same thing that you're doing right now. Doing some research, I'm rereading my material, and I'm finding some good quotes that I'm going to use. And what I do is I actually just copy out the quotes, and I put them into a Word document, or you can put them into your book. And I know that I'm going to actually explore and explain and analyse those quotes, okay? So I just get a massive feeling of security when I've got those quotes clear in my mind. So for example, if I was writing this essay, the first thing I would be doing is obviously getting to know the speeches well, and I feel confident that I know what they're about, okay? Then I'm going to actually get my quotes in order, okay? So my personal structure would be to have the first part of the essay on the Bin Laden speech, okay? And I would aim for about 6 or 7 quotes, maybe a sentence or two long, that I've written out in my book, and I know I'm going to actually explore and describe them. And then the third step is you're going to actually write sentences about those quotes. Now, that is where possibly some people are finding things quite difficult, because what do you actually say about these quotes? Well, you do need to go back to the question, obviously, and think, what is the question asking you to do? This question has got a list of things they expect you to write about. Now, I have given you that list. I'll go through it again. Obviously, the rule is reread the list that is required of you. For Barack Obama, the key thing they want is a study of his speech. That's the kind of question they've asked you to do, okay? They want you to explore what's called the context of the speech and why his speech is reliant on the context. And so you will be, when you explain a quote, you will be explaining the context of that quote. You'll be explaining, and I went through this before with you, but let's reinforce it. I need to reinforce it again and again throughout the next year and a half. The 5 W's, so useful. You know, what actually is being said in the quote? What does the quote mean? Okay, it's the first thing. So show the examiner, I actually know when Barack Obama, for example, is talking about being commander-in-chief, I know that he's referring to being head of the army, and that as president he's the head of the army, but he's also talking about being a very powerful person, isn't he? Someone who can command the biggest army in the world to do what he wants. So you might sort of explore the language he uses there seems to be informative, doesn't it? It seems to be informing us of things, but actually a really good answer would start to say perhaps he's being persuasive too, because he's showing us how powerful he is. And you will notice later on in the debate, he actually refers to being commander-in-chief first thing in the debate when he's speaking. Now, that looks like he's informing, he's telling people that he's the head of the army, isn't he? But actually, perhaps there's another purpose behind some of that language. He's trying to persuade us that he's a very important and powerful person. And obviously that will make people pay more attention to him. So the what is really important, and then all the other 5 W's, so useful. Where is it taking place? Now, here he's speaking in the White House, isn't he? We'll look at this in a minute. But in the debate, he's at a university talking to college people and professors, but he's also talking on TV. The when is important. Now, some people, and I've left it open, by all means, like Henry, for example, is looking at the Letterman speech. It is on the blog. You don't have to do it, but some people are actually looking at other speeches too. That when Letterman speech was before he became president in 2008. And it's very important to note that actually he doesn't really do shows like that anymore. Why do you think perhaps Obama doesn't do shows like Letterman, kind of comic chat shows? He doesn't really appear on them very much anymore, but he did before he became president. Why do you think he perhaps did that? Kirsty?
To get like the other views of the like votes from other like middle class people that might watch them sort of shows and like late at night because they might work during the day to get their votes and
Absolutely, he's trying to win over votes. A very popular show, but obviously, as perhaps someone like Henry might look at, Letterman can make you look like an idiot because he's a comedian, and he can make a little joke and trip you up, and then that's going to be on the YouTube forever. And so it's quite dangerous for a politician to go on a show like that because they might look like an idiot. Barack Obama, as president, everyone knows who he is, doesn't he? But before he became president, he needed to communicate with a really wide audience. So he went on the Letterman show. He doesn't do it anymore because I think the risks are too much. He always appears in the situations which make him look powerful. So we've got the when is important. And then you need to think about who is he speaking to? Now that's a big thing in this particular question. They are thinking, think about the audience that he is aiming at. Like, he's speaking to different audiences at different parts of his speech. A really good answer will think about that and show the language changes depending on who he's speaking to. Okay, so think very carefully about it. And the last one for the W's is the why. Why is he saying this? What's his purpose? Now again, in the criteria for the exam board, they're expecting you to explore. Is he trying to inform people of things? Is he trying to persuade people of things? Is he trying to describe a situation? Is he explaining a particular point? Is he explaining at certain points? Is he trying to entertain? Like Letterman, I think it's a very entertaining show. He's trying to entertain at certain points. You don't see him very much here trying to entertain. He's informing, he's persuading, he's describing, he's explaining, and at certain points he will analyse, won't he? He'll break a subject down. Okay? So, when you are doing your analysis for your essays, you need to be writing sentences that explore the quote. Now, my advice is go for it. Go for it. Just write in the first draft. Don't worry about getting it wrong. Don't worry about the spelling, punctuation, grammar, anything like that. Just write and write and write. Okay, I'm going to end the video.